Thank you. This week again, I am joined by our man on the inside. This is James DeMello from the SidebySide Partnership. James is Business Development Manager, and as I've touched on in previous brief conversations, for your delight, James has got a huge amount of experience in the market and really knows, some of the small print in terms of sort of EIS funds and SEIS funds, and he's here to sort of help highlight some of those for us and hopefully answer a few of the questions that aren't readily raised or brought up. This week, I want to ask you, James, about performance hurdles. What is a performance hurdle, and what are the effects they have to the client?
Okay, so yeah, hi everyone. Performance hurdles are something that I think should be a lot more common practice within the industry. And don't get me wrong, there are several funds and very well sort of placed people in the industry that will argue against, but performance hurdles are effectively a hurdle over which performance fees are charged. So we've touched on performance fees already, but actually a performance hurdle can differ. You may see them at 120, 30, 40, 50%. And what it basically means is if the fund manager returns above that in an exit to a client, then they will typically charge their performance fees on top. Performance fees range from, I think, around 20 to 35 odd percent. But yeah, typically sort of 25, 30. It's worth noting because performance hurdle is probably, aside from, I guess, putting their own money in, a performance hurdle is something that managers can do that really aligns their interests with your clients or the advisor's clients. Because again, if they're motivated to get the best possible exit for a client, then what better motivation for them than financial? Why they're really important from a client's point of view, and also why I think the industry sort of has a look at them, is the fact that if you are investing in SEIS, EIS, VCTs, these are long-term products. Now, for any other product, if you were to invest and let's say after year 5, your investment exits and your performance has been less than inflation even. Let's say you had a £1.20 back in the pound, and actually after fees and inflation, your return is negative. It would come as quite a kick in the teeth for the manager to then charge a performance fee on that for some investors. Now, the kind of flip side to this coin is the fact that for EIS managers, performance hurdles are always have been part and parcel of the industry for a while, but also the fact that EIS managers are restricted, and SEIS and VCTs are restricted in the type of businesses that they can invest into. Therefore, why wouldn't they have a performance hurdle on any profitable return rather than over a set amount? However, for the client's point of view, as I said, they will see the fact that money's been in there for 5 years and £1.10, 20 has been returned. Why would you pay 25, 30% performance fee on that? So again, it's important to check. Also, although it aligns the manager, it's also very important for advisors to know a couple of things on performance hurdles. So one, I guess the easy question is there a performance hurdle? There are managers out there who charge performance fees on any profitable return. However, whilst it doesn't sound bad, obviously taking to the points I've just mentioned about inflation and other charges, you've also got the fact that some managers, and this is very rare, but include tax relief within their projections. So if their performance hurdle is a net return, a net profitable return, make sure they're talking about 100% rather than 70 on EIS, where you have your 30% tax relief, because something that's, in all honesty, a little bit naughty, but again, it's something that does go on. So if you're looking at investing in any of these funds this tax year, speak to the manager, ask them where their performance hurdle is, if they have one, and ask them, is it based on 70% or 100%? Because yeah, that 30% can make quite a big difference in the client returns. Secondly, if you are looking at funds, there are a lot of funds that have performance hurdles. There are some that don't. It's worth obviously factoring that into your due diligence, because whether you're directly authorized or member of a restricted network or whatever it may be, as an advisor, when you're doing your cash flow forecasting, it's still important to note what effects these performance fees will have on the client's returns. Therefore, if a fund has a performance hurdle at 130%, for example, it's going to make a bigger difference for one that doesn't. So yeah, that's the main points to look at, I guess. And again, it's just all about asking the questions of the funds, very clearly setting out where they charge and why.